What's up, YouTube? Back at you again. Got the little dog hanging out. What's up, dude? Oh, she wants to come over. Yeah, she wants some attention. Yeah. Well, look, I wanted to talk to you about, through all the BS, I talk about trucking and stuff. It's important that we talk about some things and all of the toughs and the struggles. And I've had a rough year, so you've seen it if you've paid attention in my previous videos. But, through all the BS and all, I think we are definitely underpaid. I think there's a lot more to it than just driving a truck. A lot. That's just the small. I don't know if it's a small, but it's a lot of driving. It's a lot of work. It's a lot. There's hardly any 40-hour weeks in trucking. There's a lot of things truck drivers go through. But what I want to talk about in this video is, through all of that, what keeps me out here? What kind of refreshes me and helps me what uplifts me, or, what keeps me at it? One is money and reaching my goals and just scratching and clawing, baby. We on that grind. I mean, I sacrifice a lot. If you don't know, I've basically lived in a truck for 4 years since I got my CDL. I push myself to the limit to work as much as I can to stay out. I stay out months at a time. I stay on the road in this truck over 330 days a year. Okay, I live in the truck, and, it's a lot of 60 and 70-hour weeks, and that's on clock. There's stuff that goes on off clock. I'm in a truck 24/7. I'm under a load 24/7, hopefully. And, there's a lot of stuff that we do that we don't get paid for. But what uplifts me, what keeps me going, it's those things. Scratching and clawing. Especially in these tough times. I see these folks out here struggling. There could be some good money in trucking, but more than anything, there can be a lot of stability. If you lose a job or you want to do something different, you can get another job somewhere quick, fast, and in a hurry. In a lot of cases, right? There's a lot of options. And, what got me into trucking too to begin with was every time I looked for a job before in the past, there was always all these CDL jobs. I'm like, well, shit, that's where I maybe should be. And, but let me talk about a few other things that keep me going. One is what you see right here. You see that? The clouds, the weather rolling in. That dog is kissing me right now, licking me on the ear. But give you a big kiss, and you gotta go back over there, okay? You gotta go back over there. I'll love on you in a minute. But you see that? Believe it or not, the weather, the changing of the weather, you're traveling around the country, those rainy days, I'm a weather freak. I'm fascinated by weather. Traveling around the country, seeing not only the sights and all of the scenery, which does get, definitely boring after a while, but the weather is something that really is a big deal for me, that keeps me going. It's just one of those things, whether it be, coming from the south and not seeing a lot of snow. It's really cool to be out and around and getting in the weather systems and kind of getting involved. And there's something special about being in the truck that I enjoy on a nice rainy night, and you've done your hard work, you've done your work for the day, and you get the chance to just sit in the truck and watch the rain come down. You don't get as much of it as you would think, at least I don't. But there's something about being in the mix and seeing the weather change and being out there those days where the wind's blowing, you stop the truck for the night, and these big trucks are blowing all over the place as you're sitting still. You're getting rocked to sleep by the wind, stuff like that. All the different things, whether it be a dust storm or, lots of fog can be a little scary, but just the weather. I've already seen snow already in November. I've been driving through a little bit. That's cool, and, traveling around the country, one day you might be in Florida and sunshine and 80 degrees. And then, later this week, I'm going to be up in Iowa I guess tomorrow, and obviously it's going to be much different. But that is a big deal that, honestly, I can be having a rough few weeks, a rough month, a rough year, but all it takes is one or a couple weather systems that there's something about it. I don't know if it's the Cherokee Indian in me. I like the rainy days. I like the weather. You know, when I say weather, I like the rain and and all that stuff. And, you know, coming from the south, I don't see a lot of snow, so I'm always excited for snow, usually. Not so much ice, but snow. You know, it's something to be excited about. It's the little things. And there's been so many times where I'm pushing myself and I'm burnt out and I'm tired and I want to take time off. I want to, you know, do things that I want to do. I want to go fishing or, you know, spend time with family or whatever the case may be. But when I'm thinking about reaching my goals, the best thing I can do is be out here. And it's those little things you grasp on, the little straws that you grasp on to keep you going. Okay? And at least that's me. And because I push it. I'm a man on a mission. I have been on a man on a mission since I started. And, you know, that's over 500,000 miles in 4 years. I'm proud of that. You know, definitely sacrificed a lot to do it. And I've talked about that a lot in, you know, some other videos, and maybe check them out if you'd like. You know, but that is one. Another one is the being in different places, you know, all the time. You know, I don't see a lot of the same places that much. And that's one of the things I like about certain types of trucking, whether it be OTR, traditional over-the-road trucking, or, you know, dealing with companies where they're not dealing with direct customer freight and you're dealing with brokered freight. It gives you the opportunity to see a lot of new places, and, you know, you're not going to the same interstates all the time. You know, that's one of the things with my dispatcher when I first linked up with him almost 3 years ago. He asked me, like, the normal stuff I think they ask everybody, like, where do you like to run? Where do you not like to run? And I told him a few little things, but the main thing for me is I like to mix it up. You know, I'll get burnt out seeing the same scenery or the same interstate or the same locations. I want to mix it up. It's important for me to keep it fresh and to be mixing it up, to be seeing different shippers and receivers, to be seeing different companies, different loads. But more than anything, it's just not being in the same region that much. That stuff burns me out, and that's part of why I've been a little bit burnt out this year. We've been doing a lot of one or two regions. Haven't done a whole lot of the other regions of the country. And that's what led me to leaving the previous company I was with. I was running, you know, they were not the same where I talked about, you know, they're doing a lot of backhauls. We're running the same interstates, same scenery, same places, same companies. And it gets boring and monotonous. It takes the fun. The fun in the trucking is seeing the scenery, seeing new places, visiting new places, you know, even though it can be tough to get around in unfamiliar places, but that's that pressure and that stress of it never being the same. All the places I stop at night, a lot of them I've never been to before, even with how much I get out. And then on top of that, even if I had, it's just not the same situation. I'm just not at places very much, same places. You know, I'm always stopping overnight at new places, or even if I have been there before, it's just different places in the same area, you know, and stuff like that. And picking up loads at different, you know, regions or different companies down the street and different stuff like that. That keeps it fresh for me, and it keeps me together. So I think that's a big deal for me. Now, there are certain times where you got to be running different, where you know, it definitely can pay to be with the same, you know, shippers and receivers and the dedicated freight. It can definitely, as an owner-operator, you got to think differently. You know, and when and if that time comes, that could be a sacrifice you have to give sometimes. But that's one of the things I'll be thinking about. It is part of it. But those are the main things that really keep me together and keep me moving. And it's one of the best shining lights of trucking is that type of stuff. So I hope you were entertained. I hope maybe you learned a little something, and I hope this video does you well. And if you liked it, do leave a like, and maybe I'll leave the comments open. You know, leave your comments or questions if I do. And definitely subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And I appreciate you for listening. I'm out. Peace.